All right, and welcome or welcome back to the dumpster fire that is my podcast. I'm here to break the stigma against moms who smoke. Before I get started, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Moms Who Smoke Podcast, on Twitter at The Moms Who Smoke, and on Facebook we are Moms Who Smoke. And our podcast is available on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. And after each episode, I release a survey on SurveyMonkey where you can anonymously leave any questions or comments you have for us. If you guys can't hear already, my cat is going insane in the background and he's not stopping. I've been trying for the last 20 minutes to record. So we're just going to go with it because I need to get the episode done and he's just not chilling out. So this is what we have. Um, so I feel like I've been so entirely flaky with the podcast over the last couple of weeks. And yet at the same time, I've just had zero extra time or energy to be doing the podcast, to be recording, editing, and posting. Um, Honestly, halfway through today, I realized that it was Thursday and I needed to record tonight because the episode goes live on Friday morning. Um, and yeah, so I realized that I kind of needed to get my ass in gear. So we're here. It's a dumpster fire, but we're here. So I just kind of want to talk about the last couple of weeks and what I'm feeling. So that's what we're going to do. I started this podcast because I wanted to share my life and my experiences as a mom who smokes. And although that was my goal, I almost find it hard to talk about stressful times and overwhelming times. And I find it hard to draw a line between too much and not enough when it comes to information that I'm giving out. As I was overthinking this tonight, I hit myself with a solid reminder that this is why I started the podcast. So I could talk about my feelings and my experiences and what I'm thinking and not to be afraid or ashamed of it. So in the last couple of weeks in my personal life, I have been going through the emotional ringer. I've made some drastic changes. I cut out some toxic people. I changed my medications, which I'm going to talk about and is going really, really well. And I decided to homeschool my kids. And honestly, I feel like I've just kind of brought myself into this new normal. And it's maybe an old normal, but I'll get into that as I go on. Um, so I've been open about my re-diagnosis, obviously, and going through those steps. But I wasn't so open about how absolutely terrified I was to change medications. SSRIs, antipsychotics, antidepressants, yada, 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 they completely change the chemical balance of your brain. And it can take both a massive emotional toll as well as a massive physical toll on your body. When I came off of an antipsychotic and was put onto an SSRI, I struggled. I was extremely, I don't want to say suicidal because I wasn't at the point of doing anything, but had extremely intense thoughts about suicide for several days. And it was really hard. And I was so scared that that was what I was going to be going through for weeks and weeks. And I don't know, I just kept trying to push through and do what I was supposed to do. And I don't know, just keep going. And luckily, less than a week later, my body adjusted. And not only did it adjust, but it's like something clicked. And it's a night and day difference for me. My energy levels, my emotions, my appetite, as I settled into this medication, it's like all of those things were back in balance. And like my life force came back. Like I don't know how else to explain it, but it's been a massive shift for me and a massive positive shift. And I noticed this change, but I don't think I really noticed the severity of it, or I don't know, the, I don't even know what the word is, the significance of it. Um, but luckily, those around me did. And I was at my parents' house one afternoon and I was acting like a fool because their backyard is filled with plants. They have so many vegetable plants and um, like just different plants like corn, sunflowers, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, um, carrots. Like there's so much, I can't even name all of them, but I'm like a kid in a candy store back there because all of the plants interest me so much, and the ones that vine and like wrap around things, like I get so excited. So I was acting like a fool and just getting so excited about the plants, and my mom looks at me and she started crying, and it kind of hit me in that moment that I hadn't had or hadn't felt that happy or that just bubbly and like about something silly like that in so long. So long. Like, I want to say years. It has been so unbelievably long since I felt like that. And just genuinely on my own without weed or drinking or anything felt good. And it really hit and it really clicked in my head that I truly lost myself for so long, and it felt so good to enjoy life again. And not only did I see my happiness, but it radiates to those around me as well. And she told me she missed me. And honestly, I missed me too. It's been a long struggle, and I feel like I'm finally, I don't know, it's a complete switch. Like, I know that I've said that I've been doing good, which I have been, and I've been coping through, but that's exactly it. I've been coping. I haven't been living and enjoying. And I feel like that's where I'm at now. And I can actually, I don't know, enjoy my life, and I want to enjoy my life. And it's not forcing myself to because I know that I should. So, I don't know. It's been a massive shift. So, now in all of this mess and switching medications, fun fact, the medication that they put me on is also used to quit smoking. It's Wellbutrin XL, if anybody's wondering. So, guess who has unwillingly been cutting cigarettes out and drastically decreasing the amount that she smokes? This chick. I'm down to like 4 to 5 cigarettes a day, which is amazing because I was at almost a pack a day a couple weeks ago. But what has really shocked me is my lack of cannabis consumption. So as most of you know, I was a daily smoker, and I smoked medicinally and very frequently, like I'd say a few grams a day at least. And in the last 2 weeks, I've barely gone through what I would have in a day. And I smoke maybe once, twice in a day. It kind of depends on the day. Um, but usually right before bed, or like I smoked right before the podcast just to kind of relax a bit. Um, but I don't lean on it to get me through the day. I enjoy my day, and I look forward to having my bowl at the end of the day. And I am not using it so much as a medication anymore, maybe to aid with sleep, but at the same time, it's just to relax and enjoy the high. And it's been a different shift for me, I guess. Like, um, I don't know. I actually feel stoned. It's not a constant high that's kind of at the same level and just keeping me level. It's I actually feel stoned now. And I don't know. It's nice. So that's been a huge difference. And it honestly knocked me back. I went about 48 hours without smoking, and then without thinking, I packed my regular size bowl. And damn, um, I don't think I've been that stoned since I started smoking, which is crazy because I only stopped for 48 hours. But like, what a trip after being used to just like the little slight buzz and constant high for so long. But it's been a positive change, and it feels good to be less reliant on medication in general. And it's also allowed me to save money, which admittedly was the biggest issue with me smoking as much as I did. It wasn't it was helping me get through. I was using it as a medication, so it wasn't negatively impacting me in that way. But obviously, it costs money, and that, I don't know, takes a toll. Um, so yeah, so I changed my meds, completely cut down on smoking, and I think now is the time to start homeschooling. Yes, yes, I do. Since our last episode about the school reopening was posted, so much has changed. With the Ministry of Education, the school boards, the individual schools, everyone's kind of at their wits' end, and understandably so. So if you don't live in Ontario, I'll quickly break this down for you. This is not all the details. Don't come at me like this is a very like brief description of what's going on. So they and it's different depending on the board. It might not be all of Ontario, but this is where we are. So they presented us originally with two choices, either in person or distance learning. At first, we thought that our kids would be able to switch back to regular school at intervals or at set times, and that has changed now. But they've also come up with three different distance learning strategies and structures. So we originally had about a week to answer a survey whether or not the kids were doing distance or in-person learning. And then I think the day before that answer was due is when the board did their big meeting that all the parents could watch online. 80% of people or of parents answered that survey. And then days later, they released a new plan because they didn't anticipate the numbers that they received. And now they gave parents 48 hours to make yet another decision without a full and set plan. It's definitely more detailed than it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, but it still doesn't seem like enough. For instance, our buses aren't going to be ready till mid-September, but a lot of the schools are starting before that, or some of them have already started. Um, it's, I don't know, it's a mess. And yeah, from my point of view, and from many others' point of view that I've talked to, this is fear mongering. They're demanding a decision without a full plan or facts, and parents are left in the dark about a lot of things regarding back to school. So it's just a pressure of like, okay, what's best for your family? Like, you need to make a decision now, and it needs to happen now. Which I understand why. Obviously, they need to get the kids ready and the like spots for the kids ready. But at the same time, there needs to be some flexibility here. This is a pandemic. Um, and again, they're working on that, but that's how I'm feeling right now. So after all of that being said, any decision is the right one. Each family has to do what's best for them. I personally will not be sending my children to school, and I'm honestly very strongly considering removing them from the school system altogether. This is both because of how the opening is being handled and because I've lost a lot of faith in the school system. I believe a lot of what is being taught or, I don't know, made to be a big deal is very biased. And I don't want to like ruffle any feathers. I just don't agree with the school system as a parent. Um, for instance, we went through DARE as kids, learning about all the deadly effects of marijuana, and none of them were true. And it was a very biased thing. And that was just one of the many programs or things that we learned about and went through. But like, I don't know. I would rather raise kids that are given the facts and are able to form their own opinions and have the education to form their own opinions, as opposed to just being give these semi-biased views. Like, I don't know. I don't feel that I learned about people of color in school growing up. I don't think that I learned about um, oh, I don't think that I learned about Native people enough, considering that where I went to school was surrounded by native reserves. And there was just a lot of gaps in things that I think I got one side of, but not the other. Um, but again, just my personal opinion. Um, yeah. So honestly, my brain's just been a cycle this last couple weeks, processing, planning, and doing between my mental health, just daily life, the kids, school. Everything is one step at a time, and I'm learning to enjoy that process. I know that a lot of us are feeling overwhelmed right now with the decisions that need to be made and the focus that our life might need right now. It's so different from anything we've ever experienced. But it's important to take a step back and breathe. Remember that whatever you do will be the right choice, and we will all make it through this, even though it's fucking stressful. And I get it. I don't know. I don't think any decision feels okay or feels like the right one, because there's no right answer right now. So as long as you are doing what's best for you and your family so that you can continue to live your life and enjoy your life, that's what matters. Um, yeah, it's that constant mental flip of knowing what the right answer is when there isn't one. So I think that's what we're kind of at as a society right now. And I don't know, whenever I open Facebook, that's all that's on my feed, and that's all people are talking about, and I'm posting about it too, and like wanting other people's opinions. But it's gotten so overwhelming, and it's really hard to stick with a decision when things are constantly just being, I don't know, brought out, or not thrown in your face, but constantly in front of you. So yeah, that's where my mind's been at the last couple of weeks. Um, as far as the last couple, well, I'll do like a weekly update of how I've been doing this week. Like I said, I feel like I've done a complete 180. I wake up in the morning and I'm not tired. I actually wake up early. I've been waking up at about 7 o'clock every day, ready to get out of bed. And if I choose to lay in bed, I'm not sleeping or, dead asleep. I'm just relaxing. And I don't know, I wake up rested. I feel calm throughout the day. I don't feel like sobbing. I don't have intrusive thoughts as much, if at all. I guess it kind of depends on the moment and if there's triggers, but it's not something that I experience all day, every day now. Um, yeah, I have more energy to do things with the kids. I already notice that there's a difference. Cass, you're spilling my water. I already noticed that there's a difference in my energy levels with them. Like, I was struggling to pick Dawson up, which is so silly, but now I can pick him up no problem because I've been putting more food into my body and, I don't know, taking better care of myself because I'm not constantly bombarded by these thoughts and these feelings. So things are going really well. I'm really happy and I'm really thankful for where my life is at right now. And I hope that everybody else is finding some peace in all this chaos because it's definitely difficult. So, anyways, that is all I have for this week's episode. I'm hoping that I will have more extra time in the next couple weeks to be putting more effort into the podcast. I'm sorry that they've been kind of off the last few weeks, but I'll get back in there. We're just trying to find the new normal and our new schedule as school starts and as we're making all of these decisions. So, once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening, and I will see you in next week's dumpster fire. Bye, guys.